Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 18th and final AATF Technology Thursday webinar. Before we begin with today's webinar, let us watch a quick video to give us some insight into the world of Omron.
To optimize automated material transport, it's essential to have the right equipment for the job. When it comes to lighter loads, there's the Omron LD60 and LD90. More demanding jobs might require the Omron LD250, and heavy jobs require a robust payload capacity. Introducing Omron's strongest mobile robot, the HD1500. The HD1500 is an advanced autonomous mobile robot specifically designed to transport heavy payloads up to 1,500 kilograms. Like our popular LD series, the HD1500 is built for industrial automation. The HD1500 allows movement of large payloads and reduces the need for forklifts, ultimately doing more with less equipment, safely. The HD1500 also represents innovations in mobile robotics. Its new architecture features lasers that provide 360-degree safety coverage, as well as an onboard programmable logic controller, or PLC, to easily interface with custom attachments. And created with Omron components, the HD1500 is built to be easier to service and maintain. State-of-the-art sensors allow for precise pickups and drop-offs. Optimal route planning and dynamic obstacle avoidance create a safer work environment. The HD1500 also comes with enhanced software, including standardized code for common jobs, which can shorten programming time during startups. During operations, superior navigation capabilities and fleet management allow the HD1500 to streamline productivity by avoiding bottlenecks and traffic jams. Fast-paced manufacturing environments require speed and flexibility. With dynamic obstacle avoidance, the HD1500 can navigate facilities and route around human workers, creating a workspace where people and machines can work together in harmony. Heavier payloads, built-in controller, improved sensors, route planning and object avoidance. The Omron HD1500 autonomous mobile robot offers the most advanced performance and safety. The HD1500 by Omron, your partner in automation.
Some insight into
I am.
We'll be hearing about today. So our webinar this morning is Robots, AI and Industry 4.0, hot topic or hot air. Industry 4.0 is defined by Wikipedia as the current trend of automation and data exchange in manufacturing technologies. But what does that mean for you and your customers? Join us as we discuss new robotics technology and the practical feasibility for industry in Africa to embrace and implement robots, AI, and Industry 4.0 in day-to-day operations. Our presenter this morning is Evert Jansen van Vuren. Evert is currently the product manager for Sysmac, motion control and robotic at Omron, South Africa. He is fascinated with everything automation and robotics and is currently working on his Bachelor's of Science in Applied Mathematics and Computer Science. Before we continue with our presentation, as the attendees, please remember you can ask questions throughout the presentation using the question and answer facility at the bottom of your screen, and we will address those questions at the end of the presentation. So without further delay, over to you, Evert.
Hello, and thank you for joining me. I'm Evert, and I'm a field application engineer at Omron. In today's presentation, we will be looking at how Omron's mobile robots fit into your smart and flexible manufacturing solution, and how they can greatly increase the flexibility and efficiency of your manufacturing plant. Mobile robots allow for information sharing and collaboration, making it one of the hottest topics of the Industry 4.0 revolution. But before we get into the detail, let's hear what Letitia from Reed Exhibitions discussed with the Omron LD90 robot.
Hello, Omron LD90.
Good morning, Kweyamora Dumilam. I am the Omron LD robot. It's a pleasure to meet you.
It is a pleasure to meet you too. Tell me, what is Industry 4.0?
Industry 4.0 is defined by Wikipedia as the current trend of automation and data exchange in manufacturing technologies. But what does that mean for you and your customers? At Omron, we've been working on manufacturing automation and data exchange for many years.
Tell me, are robots likely to kill jobs?
No, in fact, they will help to future-proof jobs and organizations. Many companies are likely to experience serious labor shortages over the coming decade, especially in relation to technical specialists. At the same time, product life cycles are becoming shorter. Despite this, these enterprises might be reluctant to invest in additional automation. However, collaborative robots or cobots are easy to set up and offer a quick and cost-effective solution. They can increase the flexibility, quality, and speed.
It's very good to know. The next question is, can man and robot work together?
The coexistence of people and automated machines and robots is becoming increasingly common in manufacturing companies. Automation and artificial intelligence are transforming the efficiency of industrial production through stronger interactions between man and machine that can boost productivity. A new promising model for factory harmony is based on intelligent, integrated, and interactive design.
So let's begin by looking at a general example of a factory automation process. In this example, semi-finished goods are loaded on the input side and they are assembled and packaged, and finished goods are palletized, film wrapped and output. But it's not fully automated and still involves manual labor. Goods need to be transported manually to the inputs and taken away manually from the outputs. Manual replenishment. It's estimated that up to 50% of the working hours of skilled operators is spent manually transporting goods between warehousing and the production cells. Traceability is also almost impossible in this type of setup. You might think that a solution to this sort of problem would be to install an automated replenishing system with conveyors. But this also has some disadvantages, like they require a lot of space. These systems are costly and are difficult to implement on already existing installations. And then for the Omron solution for this sort of problem, introducing the Omron mobile robot. Total traceability due to its communication over Wi-Fi to the fleet manager. Every job it carries out is logged. The Omron mobile robots are completely safe and collaborative, using fail-safe sensors to navigate and work around people and moving equipment. The mobile robots made even more collaborative when fitted with an human-machine interface, allowing interaction between the robot and operators. The Omron mobile robots are the perfect bridge or missing link between automation and fixed robots and goods transportation to and from assembly areas or assembly cells in the warehouse. This is a much simpler solution, bridging the automation gap between warehousing and assembly. Another major advantage of using the Omron mobile robots, or this technology, is that you're able to modularize your process. Using the Omron mobile robots offers you the flexibility to move production into their own dedicated area. The Omron mobile robots can easily be taught to change their pickup and drop-off locations, so you have the flexibility of arranging your plant any way you please. So, overall, the Omron mobile robots are fully collaborative with human workforce. Their routes can be optimized. There's no need to use any floor markings or tape on the floor. They use a sensor on the front of the robot to navigate. They can easily remap their route, re-navigate, change their drop-off point or location. And the big advantage is that they can be used within a fleet also. So introducing Omron's fleet management technology. Omron mobile robots can be used efficiently in a fleet. Fleets are controlled and allocated tasks from a central control system called the fleet manager. For example, a cell requests a job to be picked up. The enterprise manager then allocates the job to the best suited mobile robot. Based on the specific criteria like its location relative to the cell requesting the job to be carried out. The fleet manager also continuously sends and receives data from the mobile robot's fleet, complementing traceability. Although items such as sensors, the cloud AI algorithms, and robotics are all part of the Industry 4.0 system, it's only when they're brought together in complete real-world solutions that the actual benefits become clear. It's these benefits that will drive the adoption of the fourth industrial revolution. Thank you for joining me. Please feel free to contact me if you have any further questions or need more information.
Great, thank you so much, Yvette. That is very, very interesting, and it's great to see one of our team members, Letitia, engaging with the Omron robots as well. Joining Yvette on our panel this morning is Johan Venter. Johan is an experienced managing director skilled in business planning, operations management, and innovation in delivery of training. His latest innovative venture as MD of Colliery Training College focuses on upskilling of artisans. With the Artisan 4.0 course, the aim is to equip already qualified artisans to work and function within the new Industry 4.0 environment. We also have Victor Marks joining the panel. Victor is the country general manager for Omron Electronics South Africa. He is passionate about industrial automation solutions as a foundational core of the contemporary engineering and the development and adoption thereof on the African continent. I now have a couple of questions for the panel. This one's for you, Victor. What is the companies in the industrial automation space doing to facilitate the adoption of Industry 4.0 technology in major South African industries?
Well, thank you first of all for the opportunity, and indeed a very good question. From my perspective, I can say that many companies and organizations in the sector are doing a lot, but what I do see a lot of as well, and I'm sure many customers and consumers out there see as well, is a lot of indeed hot air and what I like to call white noise. So from my perspective is really sifting through all of that hot air, the white noise, even the buzzwords, and actually cutting down to what is the true value and give customers even clarity as to what the true value is for them in their industries and organizations. So from an Omron perspective, I can certainly give you some concepts that we utilize and how we are progressing in supporting customers in this endeavor of theirs. And I think first and foremost, and really very key, is to really, for us as industry leaders and suppliers, to really have a good listening ear. It is really critical that we have a good listening ear to that of our customers' needs. So we really have to have a good understanding of their short, mid-term, long-term visions as well, even right down to KPIs where needed. And also very importantly is identifying the gap. And what do I mean by identifying the gap? That's really having a close understanding with the customer, walking together with the customer in understanding where are their frustrations, what are their, for example, challenges such as bottlenecks, and really also, to give you an example, faster time to market, improved quality. Another aspect is a lot of wastage, so how to cut down on maintenance costs and with scheduling and recall costs of products that were, higher failure rates, and how to address those kind of challenges. So it's really re-emphasizing, again, I can't emphasize it enough, really, is to have a good listening ear, first of all. And then with all of our knowledge that we have on Industry 4.0 and all the buzzwords related to it, we can then align the customer's need with a solution from Industry 4.0 that best fits those gaps that the customers are trying to bridge, rather than just using highfalutin buzzwords that don't really mean too much tangibly, at least from the perspective of value. So I'm talking about keywords such as IoT, big data, artificial intelligence, which is really the core of Industry 4.0 and what we call the fourth industrial revolution. So to give you a bit of an example, I would say if you're a producer or manufacturer, I would say the goal should be to achieve what we call a near factory, the word near, essentially N for networked, E for effective, A for agile, and R for responsible. And delving a bit more, so network, what do I mean by that? Is really the machines within the factory environment. How interconnected are they with each other? How interconnected are they to the cloud, to the higher levels, MES levels, and so on? And also the accessibility to that information on the floor of those machines, right from sea level, right down to the actual factory floor level with your artisans and your operators. And then the next step, the E, which I call effective, would be what in the industry we term as OEE, or overall equipment effectiveness. And industry research has shown that majority of companies out there, or manufacturers, their OEE tends to be below 50%. So the idea is to get it as high as possible, within the machine's capability, to have a really high OEE level, so making them more effective to assist with the output. And then next on the A would be agile. How agile is the floor or the factory to adapt to sudden change in demand? So all coming down to the consumer demand. So change in recipes, change in product that they're going to be running, and volume of the product that needs to be run, and how quickly and efficiently they can adapt to that. And then the R for responsibility. And here I'm referring more to relating to the raw materials that companies use, how the environmental impact, the wastage of those raw materials, how much wastage is there. So of course, companies are looking to reduce as much as possible the wastage, cut on costs. And Omron has got a concept which we're really driving globally quite strongly, which I really believe adds a lot of value in bridging these customer needs with the offering of Industry 4.0, which we from at Omron term as I-automation, short for really innovative automation, in bringing the objectives of artificial intelligence really to the floor level and deriving maximum value for our customers. So our I-automation concept is really built on three foundations. So that would be integration, interactive, and intelligent. So what do I mean by integration? Really, the seamless integration of the different technologies and disciplines, and achieving this with high speed and a high rate of accurate control as well, which is key. Interactive would really be, very importantly, safe and easy interaction, as Evert showed, regarding man and machine, for example, mobile robots, cobots, and many other type of robotized solutions, Delta robots, and so on. And the third one, being intelligent, is really all this, what we hear out there, the big buzzword, big data, is really taking all this data that's coming in from your field devices or your IoT devices, sensing and so on, back into the machine and then up to your higher levels. And then what do you do with all this data? You know, what is the real value? And the idea from intelligent is deriving maximum value out of that data. Bring it a bit closer to the factory floor. From my side, I would say a good Omron value proposition that we have would be really the one of personalized machines as well. What do I mean by that? So really efficient engineering to handle machine variations. And the fact really is that the consumer nowadays is really driving the change within industry. Consumers, and especially as middle classes grow in Africa as well, there'll be a greater demand, as there is already in the Western world, for different varieties, different selections, colors, tastes, and those change very quickly as well. So companies have to be efficiently adapted to be able to address those ever-moving goalposts almost of what the consumers want out there. And always keeping in mind that, very importantly, consumers still wants top quality and still wants safety. So all of those aspects, and it's really just given companies a lot more to think about, really, in regarding addressing those gaps in order to meet those ever-evolving customer demands. And here we look at what we call problem, solution, value, and proof. So really, obviously, identifying the problem, what is the solution for that problem, but then very importantly, the value. What value, how much value am I deriving from the solution? Am I really getting maximum value out of the solution that's been proposed? And then from the proof side of it, we use our POC, or proof of concept, in certain applications where we actually trial run and actually prove the concept to the customer of their derived value on implementation of such a solution. So we also have other key value propositions, such as, which are very topical, especially in pharmaceuticals, as well, regarding safety and quality. So, and in the food and commodity sector as well, serialization and track and trace would be one of those value propositions. As Evert also showed, very importantly, and much more so into the future, really, is flexible factories with flexible machines, and the utilization of robotization more and more as we go into the future, in how to best accelerate this quick adaptability of these flexible factories. And then, of course, bringing outdated systems within factory environment and bringing them into the world of 4.0 or Industry 4.0. So, yeah, all of this is definitely supported by our extensive specialist skills that we have internally within Omron locally with our specialists, but not only locally, tapping into the Omron knowledge pool globally, even with our different remote sites of support as well. So there's a number of ways that we do it. Also, as I mentioned earlier, our proof of concept. And very key to us is really walking the journey of the machine or the actual factory's cycle from beginning to end with our customers. And that, I really feel, is part of the relationship, and going back to that listening ear, of understanding what is that the customer is really requiring. And having mentioned all of this, to finish off, very importantly for us, of course, is also the development of the future talent. So those on the floor, from your artisans, technicians, technologists, engineers, and up, as to, you know, bringing that increased knowledge pool to be able to implement and execute effectively Industry 4.0, not only in South Africa, but into Africa, and really making our continent a real example to the world of an accelerated and effective implementation of such a new technological revolution that we are facing. And then for us, it's a real honor to really partner with you know, industry solution providers from a perspective of training, such as CTC with their patented Artisan 4.0, where they, really, in my view, visionary way, saw that Industry 4.0 isn't really necessarily from your technologist or engineer level and up. It's really from the ground, from the floor, from the factory floor, and really applying those skills and improving those skills from artisan level right to the top. So that's, I know it was a bit of a mouthful, but hopefully it gives a bit of an overview of what or at least certainly from the perspective of Omron, what we're doing to facilitate the adoption of Industry 4.0 in our major South African industries and into Sub-Saharan Africa.
That's great. Thank you very much, Victor. That was very insightful. So moving on to the next questions, Johan, these are for you. The first question is, job security and upskilling are important factors in the African industrial and mining context. What can be done to meet the demand for skilled labor created by the drive for technology adoption and Industry 4.0?
Thank you very much for that question, Chardonnay. I think Victor touched on it, and artisans are truly the foot soldiers, the boots on the ground, you can say, of the skilled labor force. They service the shop floor or the coal face. They are there where the things happen. But if we look at the content of what we train our artisans currently, it reminds us of a second or a third industrial revolution. There is nothing in their training currently that tell us that we are busy with the fourth industrial revolution. Even the processes that we use to train them remind us of a factory of the 1900s. Input in, transformation step 1, transformation step 2, transformation step 3, trade test. And then we think to ourselves that we've created one more artisan, therefore we must have reduced the skill shortage by one more person. But I think we're fooling ourselves, and I think we're setting up that guy for failure, because we've trained him for a world that is changing, for a world that no longer exists or will shortly cease to exist. So to answer your question, to meet the demand for the skilled labor, we need to do three things. Firstly, we have to continue to train artisans, but we need to teach them different things, and we need to teach them in a different way. At the same time, we mustn't forget that the laws of physics haven't changed. The Ohm's law is still a law. It's not just a guideline. Friction will still cause bearings to heat up. Gravity is still an issue that artisans need to deal with. And traditionally, artisans are equipped to deal with these realities. That part of the training must not stop. But technology will no doubt help and assist them. But we need to, in addition to the traditional stuff, we need to train these artisans in the digital networking skills and communication skills demanded of the new technology, required in an Industry 4.0 work environment. We also need to teach them differently. We need to give them a lot of skills in terms of automation, and there will be a very, very high dosage of robotics. We will soon boast one of the Omron LD90s and one of the TM5700 cobots with which we're going to equip our artisans with these basic robotic skills. But thirdly, we also need to teach them in a different way. As training providers, we need to teach them in a more digital way. Trainers are used to teaching them in a classroom, in a workshop, but we never give our trainee artisans anything to learn online. And I think that must change. At CTC, we're very, very well equipped to do the first thing. We've been training artisans in the traditional way for more than 50 years. We can do that, and we do that well, and we're not going to stop doing that. But with the help of Omron, our technology provider, we are busy implementing the digital components that artisans lack. In a large part, that training will be offered online, hopefully giving our learners some of those skills that they need in Industry 4.0. We call this new training program Artisan 4.0. I hope that answers the question, Chardonnay.
Yes, thank you very much, Johan. I have another question for you. What is Artisan 4.0? The 4.0 is obviously a reference to the fourth industrial revolution, but can you tell us a bit more about the content of this training?
Sure. Artisan 4.0 started off as a code name for a project that we started a couple of years ago when some of our customers and our shareholders, and I must add that our shareholders are also our customers. They started asking what is happening in the artisan training space to keep up with this increasing digital workplaces. We must remember that there's a lot of digitization happening in mines as well, not only factory floors digitizing. Mines are also seeing a very big drive towards a digital workplace. And we answered them sort of like, in trying to answer them, we went around and we looked what's happening. And we found that the traditional bureaucracies that I mentioned earlier are considering changes, but they are going to move very slowly, and they're going to be doing too little, too late, as far as digital training of artisans are concerned. So we went shopping around a bit to see what it is that we should offer. We also consulted with our customers on what their needs are, and we also talked to technology providers like Omron. What is it that they see is needed in the market? And with their help, we started putting together a package. In fact, Omron was good enough to help us spec some of the content of the training, and they put together a technology package that we can roll out in our Artisan 4.0 training lab. Now, to get the full picture of how the Artisan 4.0 training works, I would advise that you go to the CTC website. That's www.ctctraining.org. And then you will find a brochure or a pamphlet on the content of Artisan 4.0 training. But I can tell you that it comes in 4 phases. Phase 1 is totally free and online, and it contains 5 courses. There's an introductory course, a course on problem solving and thinking skills in a digital environment. There's a course on the basics of electrical circuits. There's a course on, there's an introductory course on PLCs, and a course in electropneumatics and electrohydraulics. In these courses, the learners get the opportunity to build basic skills by constructing virtual circuits on a device that we grow on in-house and used online. For example, there's a PLC system that they can go into a virtual PLC online and do a little bit of a ladder programming. Phase 2 is also online, but that involves a small fee. And the phase 2 courses are basically Omron courses that we link from our CTC learning site. And that contains the following content: automation, networks, power supplies, relays and switches, safety components, sensors, drives, and control components. Phase 3 of our Artisan 4.0 program is on site here at CTC in the workshop that we're busy preparing. And this will comprise a 10 to 15 day practical workshop. A lot of time will be spent on the actual physical simulators that as we talk, that we're busy building. There will be advanced PLC training, electrohydraulics, electropneumatics, pump control systems, conveyor control systems, safety systems, and of course a hands-on introduction to autonomous mobile robots. As I said just now, we will boast an Omron LD90 and the Cobot TM5700. With these robots on site, we hope to teach our students the basic of robotic concepts. They will be able to automate a robotic system. They will be able to successfully deploy a robotic system to perform a specific task. They will have knowledge of the data and the information requirements of the robotic system. And they should be able to perform some material handling task that requires safe human-machine collaboration. In phase 4 of our program, there will be it will be an on-job phase. So the guy will be issued with a logbook, and he needs to go back to his workplace and do some practical task or assignment, solving a real-life situation, which we will then assess afterwards with a panel of experts. Hopefully, somebody like Evert will be there adjudicating or awarding some of the first certificates. I hope that answers the question, Chardonnay.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. And for those who missed the website or need Johan's contact details, they are on the screen currently, should you require those. Okay, so moving on to the next question. Evert, these are for you. How many mobile robots can be used in a single fleet?
Sure, thanks, Chardonnay. Okay, so in a single fleet, you can use up to 100 of the Omron mobile robots, as long as you use the Omron fleet management software. And these robots can be a mix between all the variations of robots that Omron do. I mean, we do a 60, a 90, and a 250 kilogram robots, as well as a 1.5 ton robot. So to answer the question, 100 robots can be used in one system, and it can be a mix of between all of them.
Great. And how long does it take for the mobile robot battery to charge, and how long can the robot operate on a fully charged battery?
All right, so the charging times are different for all our robots. The smaller robots, the 60, 90, and 250 kilogram payload robots charge in about 4 hours, and they can run from 10 to 15 hours depending on the payload that they're working on. The HD 1500, Omron's 1.5 ton robot, is very impressive. It charges to 100% in only 39 minutes. And it can run for 9 hours at full payload, which is really impressive. So, strange enough, the biggest robot charges the fastest.
That's great, thank you. And are there any safety devices on these robots?
Yes, of course. So all of the Omron robots have been designed and built with safety in mind. Obviously, you can imagine a 1.5 ton robot. You don't want the thing going out of control. So that's one of the main things Omron have focused on, was the safety aspect within all of these mobile robots. On every single one of our mobile robots, we have a Omron OS32 safety scanner, which is on the front of the robot. It uses that scanner to create a map and navigate its environment. But remember, it's also a safety scanner, which means it's fail-safe. Okay. Then we also have low front lasers for detection of lower laying objects, and there's a front bumper sensor on the robot. And then, of course, your typical e-stop you'd find on the robot too. That would also be, if you hit the e-stop, the robot stops. It's overall a very safe piece of machinery to have running around your factory or your warehouse or wherever you're going to be using it.
Great. What is the maximum speed of these mobile robots?
Okay, so they travel between 1.2 meters per second and 1.8 meters a second. So not Usain Bolt's speed, but they do go a bit faster than a normal person would walk, you know. So there is that benefit that they can go pretty fast in a normal operation, faster than a person could walk.
Interesting. So can these robots be used together with the Omron TM collaborative robots like a mobot?
Okay, so yes, I mean, it's a very common application to use the collaborative robot, which is mounted to the top of the Omron mobile robot. In fact, we call this a mobot, or a mobile manipulator. So the cobot that sits on top of the mobile robot is powered from the same battery that is powering the mobile robot. Yeah, so yes, it's possible. It's possible. It's quite a common application. The cobot mounted on top of the mobile robot would use its vision system or its camera to pick parts off of a platform and place it onto the mobile robot, onto a trolley or something that's on the robot. So yes, this is quite a common application, and it is possible.
And where would you typically use the mobile robots?
So we've seen it used a lot in the automotive industry. But I would say in South Africa, possibly the warehousing industry, and we're also finding it quite a lot in the mining industry. The technology used on a lot of the underground trucks you would find also on the mobile robots. So yeah, Does that answer?
Yes, yes, thank you. So the final question that we have, Johan, is for you. It's what qualification do you need to have an Artisan 4.0 course?
You don't really need any qualification. The phase one, as I said, is open and it's free and anybody can enroll. Even a kid busy with standard 8 or standard 9 or going to grade 12 wondering what you want to do for a future. You can enroll and they can start their work. For the further phases, the phase 2 and phase 3, the people should have a very, very strong aptitude technically to make a success of it. And typically artisans would do well at those phases of the training. But formally, there is no rule in place that says thou shalt have this before you can try this. It's open to everybody.
Fantastic. Thanks very much for that. So we don't have any further questions from the attendees. If you do feel that you'd like to ask questions after the session, the email addresses of the panelists and speakers is on the screen, as well as the websites as well. Please feel free to go directly, or you can contact the AATF team who will pass the message on as well. That does bring us to a close. Thank you very much to Omron and all the panelists for your participation. And thank you to the attendees for attending our 18th and final AATF Technology Thursday for 2020. Another big thank you to everybody who has contributed towards Technology Tuesday and Thursday throughout 2020. And we will be back with these sessions early in 2021 before our event in May from the 18th to the 20th of May at the Ticket Pro Dome. We look forward to seeing you all there. Stay safe and we will chat soon. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Goodbye, everyone.